which resulted in me losing 9 hours of gameplay. The Dead Space Remake Platinum was supposed to be easy. The right... That was rude. All right, here we go. The Dead Space Remake. Up there with the most anticipated games of this year, including another remake, Resident Evil 4, which, all I'll say, if they treat that remake like Motive Studio treated this remake, we are in for a good treat. So there's basically 2 remakes that I use to compare when another remake of a game drops. They are the OG Resident Evil remake and the Resident Evil 2 remake. With the Resident Evil 2 remake being the best gaming remake to ever been produced, in my opinion. Everything about that remake is just perfect. And how does Dead Space Remake match up against it? Well, it's pretty close, I'm not gonna lie.
What's your status? Do you have the captain's rig?
Fuck me!
Here's the thing, right? I don't want to mention Callisto Protocol too much, but since the OG developers of Dead Space 1 worked on Callisto, I feel like that it's going to get brought up eventually. And all I want to say, as someone who really enjoyed Callisto Protocol, this game blows Callisto out of the water.
Now this shocks me.
Of course, you might say, of course it does. It's Dead Space 1. But I remember Dead Space 1 being good. I do not remember it being this damn good. Now, to give you guys a little history on the OG Dead Space 1, some people see as the best survival horror game ever made. To my knowledge, it's actually the first survival horror game that allowed you to move while shooting. Of course, in every Resident Evil game up to this point, and including further entries, they required you to, if you want to shoot, you have to stand still. Even Silent Hill 2, another one of the best survival horror games that is also getting a remake. God, survival horror fans are just eating well this year, and I'm all for it. But Silent Hill 2, if you want to hit something, you are standing still. Dead Space allowed you to move while shooting and still somehow made it one of the scariest survival horror games with its dripping atmosphere, the design of one of the most iconic enemies in gaming, the necromorphs, and also jump scares that are annoying to go through. I usually despise jump scares, but this game just does them well. Okay, that was... That caught me off guard. The iconic moment at the start of the game where you go through the elevator and history in gaming has taught you that you are safe once you've gone through that elevator, and seeing the necromorph just bust open the doors and then those same doors saving you just in the nick of time and the blood of the necromorph splattering all over you, it's just amazing, man. Such a fantastic first impression of this game. One big thing they did change, however, in this game is the protagonist, Fortnite star Isaac Clarke. Firstly, Isaac's face model has changed. I prefer the old one personally. Even now, having played the remake 3 times, I still think of old Isaac when I think of Isaac, but it's really not that big of a deal. The other thing they changed is now Isaac speaks. He was a silent protagonist in the OG, and in the remake, he now speaks. And I want to say, it's 100% a welcome change. Isaac speaking just truly adds so much to the story and is a very welcome addition. Overall, this is pretty much almost a flawless remake. I'd say almost just because I have a slight irk with this game, and I'll touch on that when I get to my impossible playthrough, and this glitch where I quite literally can't move. Bro, I'm literally stuck. I literally couldn't move. Now, I've heard some people say that this game isn't as scary as they remember. And to that, I just want to say, what year did you play the OG Dead Space? Because I first played Dead Space in 2010 when I was 12 years old. And now I'm 24. Oh my God. And my 12-year-old mind thought this game was the scariest thing ever produced. So even now, I don't find Dead Space Remake quote-unquote scary. Especially when you're idling in the menus and Randy Orton style, you hear voices in your head. What the hell? Chat, could you hear that whispering? And now this remake just makes me selfishly want a Dead Space 2 remake, since Dead Space 2, in my opinion, is better than the first game. And also, imagine the eye poke machine in like 3 years' time. But how is the platinum for the Dead Space remake compared to the original? I'll be honest, it's pretty similar. You can do it in 2 playthroughs. However, I would probably recommend 3. You need to beat the game on impossible difficulty, which is both easier and harder than the original. Impossible difficulty in the OG Dead Space was in fact that, impossible difficulty. Enemies hit you harder, supplies were a lot scarcer, and overall the game was just more difficult. However, in the Dead Space I'm getting so bored of saying Dead Space Remake. Let's just say DSR. So in DSR, impossible difficulty is just hard difficulty, except the game is on permadeath.
What?
Now, this isn't mind-leaping permadeath. This is, if you start the death animation, then quit to the main menu, you'll just go back to your last save. But there may have been a case or 2 where I may have forgotten to do this. Now, if I had some people say that this game isn't as scary as they remember, and to that, I just want to say, what year did you play the OG Dead Space? Because I first played Dead Space in 2010 when I was 12 years old. And now I'm 24. Oh my God. And my 12-year-old mind thought this game was the scariest thing ever produced. So even now, I don't find Dead Space Remake quote-unquote scary. Especially when you're idling in the menus and Randy Orton style, you hear voices in your head. What the hell? Bro, really? He came out of nowhere. But just note, that is there. Also, in one of your playthroughs, you will need to beat the game with only the plasma cutter. Now, this isn't really an issue since the plasma cutter is pretty much one of the best guns in the game. You can constantly upgrade the gun as you run through the game to the point where every time you shoot an enemy, it lights them on fire. Oh, bro, look what it does. Oh, my plasma cutter's freaking sick now. In terms of miscellaneous trophies, it's basically the same as the OG Dead Space. That is, kill 30 enemies with every weapon, kill enemies by doing certain things such as stomping or when they're stasis, and of course, collectibles. All right, so here's my roadmap for the Platinum. First playthrough is going to be getting every collectible while beating the game using only the plasma cutter. Second playthrough will be New Game Plus, where I upgrade every single weapon. And then the third playthrough will be on New Game on Impossible difficulty. I'm sure it will conclude with 0 problems.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
So grab your plasma cutter and let's get the Dead Space Remake Platinum trophy.
All right. Showtime!
So of course, we begin our first playthrough. This playthrough is all the collectibles and plasma cutter only. Put that damn helmet on. Oh my god, it's... Oh, I love it so much. Playthrough starts and we do the run to the iconic elevator, and then we pick up the only weapon we shall be using this playthrough, the beautiful plasma cutter. Now I want to know, what is the most iconic weapon in gaming? I'm not saying the plasma cutter is, but you could definitely make a case for it. You have Cloud's sword, you have Link's Master Sword, you have the Lancer from Gears. There's so many weapons, so let me know what is the most iconic. We confront our first enemy, the Necromorph, one of the most satisfying enemies to kill. The way you probably kill these enemies is by shooting off their limbs, and when you get Kinesis, which allows you to pick up items, you can pick up said limbs and throw them back at the Necromorphs, doing incredible damage. Nice. One thing I don't remember happening a lot when I played the original is enemies just randomly appearing behind you. Maybe that's just me misremembering, but it does happen a lot in this game, and it definitely keeps you on your toes. You're gonna get a PS5 soon. Oh, the exclusive behind me. And we visit the first store in the game and do one of my favorite things in this game, and that is buying a new suit. Let's see it. Ah, the music as well. We then come across this guy who's giving himself a headache. Bro, you good? And then we get some shock therapy for all of our troubles. All right. All right. We then get a cheeky trophy. Pin an enemy. Nice. You ever hate where you're following a collectible guide and this happens? All right, we're in the morgue on alongside the right. Along this playthrough, we have been picking up some guns. You are able to pick up all the other guns in your plasma cutter only playthrough. Just be sure not to fire a bullet. Just put them in storage and you will be good. Oh, flamethrower, another gun I can't use. After that, we encounter one of Dead Space's iconic enemies, the Brute. The Brute is one of my favorite enemy designs. The first time you fight him, it might be challenging. However, once your stasis and your damage on your guns is upgraded, they really aren't that bad. Oh, here he comes. There he is! The goddamn Brute. If you guys are enjoying the video, hit that like button. It helps me out massively. Hey. Then pick up one of my favorite guns in the game that I look forward to using in the second playthrough. Oh, the contact beam! Another gun that I can't use. Let's go. Then after chapter 4, we pick up another suit. Oh, beautiful. After that, we encounter another enemy type, and it's one of my favorite enemies, the Hunter. The Hunter is a unique enemy in that no matter what you do, you cannot kill it. Well, besides freezing it and setting it on fire, but regardless, its limbs will constantly generate themselves. Whoa! We then pick up a trophy, which is for getting 75 logs. There are a total of about 180 logs, I believe. Hey, nice. Other collectibles include the schematics, which help you further upgrade your guns. And that's pretty much it for the collectibles. We then grab the final weapon in the game, the Force Gun. Oh, the Force Gun! Full arsenal, let's go. We then destroy this Brute, get grabbed by this tentacle. If you guys are ever worried how if the plasma cutter only playthrough would be an issue, just watch this. God, this plasma cutter is insane. We then progress on and pick up another suit. There's a trophy for storing 25 items in your storage box, so we quickly knock that one out here. It's a fat beat, I gotta say. Hey, there we go. Now, throughout this playthrough, I have been stasising enemies and stomping on them to try and get the backbeggar trophy. Now, you don't need to do this since there's so many enemies that break apart and crawl on the floor that you'll pretty much get this through natural progression. Oh, freaking time I got that trophy. This is one of those miscellaneous trophies. It requires you to activate the shooting range. A bunch of enemies will spawn, and you just have to survive. Hey. We then finally pick up all the schematics for a trophy. Not to mention as well, schematics also allow you to purchase other items in the game, such as health packs and ammo. Ooh. All right, this trophy is for clearing a max security override. Because there's particular doors in this game that you need a certain clearance to open, which some of those doors have collectibles inside. So if you're doing a collectible run, you will get this trophy. One of the big side missions done. Then play some arcade games to get a quick trophy. Boom! Z-baller. We then pick up the final suit in the game, or so you think. The last suit you get, oh boy. We then pick up the final collectible that gets us a trophy, which is your 150 logs. And after no spoilers, we finished the game. No real issues on this playthrough. Just overall, just so happy to be playing Dead Space again. All right, this is what you get for New Game Plus. 50,000 credits, 10 power nodes, some text logs, and a new suit. There we go. So, New Game Plus, which is probably what I'm going to do now, and just use different guns to get the kills with. All right, on to our New Game Plus playthrough. I forgot to mention this earlier, that in New Game Plus, there is a new collectible type, which are called markers. And if you collect all the markers, you get an alternate ending, which gives you another trophy. So this trophy is basically a speedrun to upgrade everything, collect all the markers, and then finish the game as quickly as possible while killing at least 30 enemies with each weapon. But first, let's get our final suit. Oh my sweet Jesus. Oh, that is freaking gorgeous. After many chapters, we finally upgrade every single weapon in the game. And in no time at all, we beat the New Game Plus. Now, after a quick break, we start our impossible mode run. Now, impossible mode isn't that tricky, as long as you remember that if you get into the death animation, quickly quit to the main menu, and you can load back into your save. Also, this is where my issue with the difficulty comes in. If you load back into your save, there's a high probability that an enemy is literally just on you and will attack you before you even have the chance to do anything. All right, let's continue my impossible run. Click continue. And I'm already getting attacked. There's no invincibility frames or anything, so you are literally just a sitting duck. You can even see Isaac look at the threat, and you cannot do anything about it. I wish this was taken out of the game, and it has caused some very angry moments. What kind of bloody spawn is that? 11 minutes! Now, not only did I fail to remember that you can quit out once. Oh... Oh, no. Cool. Basically, my entire day is just out the window. But I proceeded to do it again, which resulted in me losing 9 hours of gameplay. I fucking done it again. I was in chapter 10. Forgot I was on in... Let me guess. I have no cloud storage, right? Fuck me. Bro, I don't have the fucking time to do another 7-8 pissing hours. So yeah, if you're wondering why the video is delayed, this is kind of why. I don't know if I have it in me to do it all again. It's not even that hard. It's just oh my god. All right, guys, no beating around the bush. I barely recorded this third playthrough. I was so annoyed. I just wanted to speed run through it as quickly as possible until I got to the end. Overall, fun platinum. Sucked that I had to play this game an extra 9 hours. But overall, a lot of fun. So happy I get to play Dead Space again.